Hey guys, what's going on and welcome back. Today you're going to learn how to create these super cool YouTube shorts, or I mean you can put it to TikTok, whatever social media you have. Okay, these type of videos that are essentially sort of like ASMR style videos. Okay, so we have a video that's fully generated by Seedance AI model. I'm going to touch on that just in a bit so you can have the background and idea what I'm talking about. And you will get this entire workflow, okay, for n8n, and n8n essentially is a platform where you can generate automations that do cool stuff like that. Okay, so you will get this entire n8n JSON template for 100% free, okay? And you'll be able to generate these type of videos yourself, and I'll explain you how to use the API keys, how everything works. So you as a beginner, first of all, you're gonna learn foundations for n8n, how to generate cool videos, how to do the basics of API, and essentially how everything works behind the scenes. And you're going to be learning a lot of cool stuff, and everything is for 100% free. Okay, so there's not going to be something hidden behind the paywall. So everything will be explained, everything will be for free. And yeah guys, so if you're super curious and if you want to learn this, how to do these type of videos yourself, then definitely this video is for you. And if you're a beginner in automations, definitely stick around because you're going to be learning some cool stuff. So if that sounds like you, let's go ahead and dive into it right away. So first, let me give you a demo video, actually, okay? Before everything, I think you should check it out because, in my opinion, this is really, really cool. We have video and sound, so let me just play that. All right, so audio is low, but you should be able to hear it. So it's pretty cool. It's like those, YouTube, TikTok, SMR videos where like you're cutting, or well, AI generate content is cutting like all kind of weird and satisfying objects. And I'll show you as well how you can adjust the script, okay, and the workflow in a sense that you can generate any type of content, okay. So you have entire workflow ready. You'll just change the script, what do you want to generate, and you can create completely different stuff, right? So this is how you do it, right? So let me just close that. And also, what's cool about this flow that it will be generating a unique video each time, right? It's always going to be generating videos in the same niche, like ASMR, because it's preset here, and I'll show you how to change that. But it's always going to be brainstorming using AI agent right here, okay? So we are generating a concept using AI agent every time it's unique, every time it's something different, but in the same niche. And then we're sending everything to a production plan. So it's kind of like a mini, I would say, mini video production studio team, okay? So you have the concept generator agent, creating production plan, and then generating the actual prompt that goes to AI models, right? So let me walk you through quickly and explain you everything, including which APIs you need, how much it's going to cost you roughly for the API cost. Okay, so this thing right here is free. You're just going to be paying for actual API costs. And let me just explain you exactly how those work, okay? So you kind of have a basic understanding. All right, cool. So let's begin with the first one, right? Let me just give you a breakdown of the entire flow, and also kind of foundations, the basics of n8n, right? So here we have a scheduled trigger node, okay? And everything in n8n is called a node, okay? So each of these ones, that's a node, okay? That's actually how n8n is structured. So each of these ones are nodes. So the first one is a scheduled trigger node. Basically what it does, it just runs this entire flow automatically on a daily basis every 45 minutes. Actually, this is kind of a lot. I would say let's do it every 9 hours. Okay, so every 9 hours daily, it's going to be running the this workflow, generate new videos. But if you want to, for example, generate, I don't know, 2-3 shorts like this daily, you can set something like every 4 hours or every 5 hours, whatever, and then it's going to be triggered based on that time frame, right? And then you essentially need to just make sure that you enable the workflow here like this, okay? Because otherwise it's not going to be running automatically, right? So the scheduled trigger, for scheduled trigger to be automatically triggered based on that time that you added in there, the flow has to be active. So for now, I'm doing a demo. I'm going to disable it. Doesn't matter. So next we're going to be moving up to a generate viral concept, meaning this is where sort of a first step of the magic happens. Okay, so this AI agent generates a actual concept of the video, and we're doing that by using a prompt, okay, and a system message. Okay, so the prompt essentially is a, well, I mean, it's a it's a sort of instruction to AI model what you want to do. Okay, so if you're using ChatGPT, every time you go to ChatGPT and you type something, that's a prompt. So prompt request, whatever the message, instruction, what do you want to get from it, right? So here's the prompt from you. Use a message because that's coming from you. Then we have a system message. Okay, so these are different. Okay, prompt is something that's coming from the user, and system message that is defined by default. Okay, so in the system message, we are usually sort of describing or building up the character or behavior of the AI agent. Okay, so we want AI agent to always at all times to behave specifically like this. Okay, so it's not like a prompt. Prompt is dynamic, changes with your user input, but for system message, it's always static. So it's something that we want AI agent to do all the time and constantly, right? So prompt essentially is a generate one short, oddly satisfying viral video concept. Okay, focus on textures and kind of giving a direction. What do we want in the video? Because if we send, a very basic data to AI model, we will get back very basic output or result back. Okay, so for us to get those like cool SMRs, like nice with reflections, with shadows and jelly textures, we need to include all of that and model that, okay, in order to get those results. So, and that's exactly what we're doing. Okay, so here we're defining the character for this AI agent, and we're saying you are an AI specializing in viral, oddly satisfying content for platforms like TikTok, YouTube Shorts. Okay, and here we're describing the characteristics of the video that we wanted to include, right? So texture-rich materials, okay, kinetic, sand, soap, slime, all that stuff. Satisfying actions, slicing, pressing, pouring, arranging, and so on, right? So we're giving an agent a sort of a job description and how it should behave within the working environment, right? Something in that direction, right? Then each agent, when using an agent, it doesn't work on its own. It always needs a chat model, okay? Because when you add a agent, for example, if I go here and I add a node and I add a agent like this, right? So it's not going to work because first of all, there's no input, there's no trigger. So in n8n, for anything to work, it needs a trigger, and you can only have one trigger per workflow. Anyways, different topic. So a agent needs a brain. Okay, so here when you add it by default, it comes like this. All you're gonna do, you're gonna go here and then you're gonna search for OpenAI chat model, and like that, we just gave our AI agent a brain. Okay, so now it can generate and think on its own. So yeah, that's essentially what chat models do. And chat models are usually connected to either OpenAI, aka ChatGPT, or to Claude, or to Anthropic, or aka Claude, right? So those are the two most common AI models that we use in n8n workflows. You can also have like DeepSeek and then Grok and some other ones, but again, the most common ones are ChatGPT, really good for quick content and just analyzing data. But if you need to really have high quality content, high quality data to be analyzed, you're going to be using the Claude's model 4.0, for example, right? Cool. So that's kind of a very short course on APIs. And again, when you're using the APIs, meaning the AI models, you need to connect it to your API, right? So the way you do it, if you want to get the OpenAI API, just go to Google and type in OpenAI API, okay? And you're gonna go on this one, API platform, and then you simply log in into API platform right here, and I'm gonna choose my email, okay? And once you're here, you're gonna go to dashboard right here on the right corner side, right? And then you're gonna go to API keys. You're gonna generate a new API key. Once you're done, okay, it's gonna be like here. You're gonna copy the API key, bring it to n8n, and then here create new credential and copy paste API key in here, just like that. Super simple. And also, it won't work before you fund your API key, meaning you need to put some money on it. The way you do it, click right here on this little settings icon, I guess, and you're gonna go to billing here on the left corner side. And here I have like $68, and the way I got those $60, obviously I put my credit card, and just click here on add to credit balance. And here you can start with $10, that's more than enough. And here you're gonna add your card number and then continue. That's it, okay? And then your API key is ready to go, and you can start using it with your n8n workflow, right? Cool. So this is good to go for basics of APIs and how to connect those. Then we're sending everything to generate detailed prompt. Okay, so this is where kind of the final magic happens, right? So it receives the data from the first initial two agents. It processes everything, and then we are instructing this agent essentially to create a detailed video generation prompt for this concept. Okay, concept. Actually, I found a mistake in my node. So here I'm using as a fixed as a fixed input, okay? Because well, I'm using wrong input because it's not supposed to be fixed. Because fixed, what it means that it will be read by the node or AI model as a plain text. Okay, that's not what I want for this reason right here. So if you look at my mouse, I'm highlighting it. Okay, so these are the expressions or variables, right? So for us to get the data from the previous node, we need to use a expression or variable. So here we're saying essentially get the data from the node create production plan, which is essentially the previous node. And then we are essentially choosing it from item.json.output, okay? Because if you look on the left corner side, here we have, this is the name. If you can see, it's super easy once you kind of get the concept, right? So if you again look at my mouse here, number 2, create production plan. Here it is, create production plan right here, the same thing. And then item, okay. Item is essentially whatever the item is below this node right here, okay. And then we're choosing the JSON, okay. So if we want to choose something from the node, we need to say JSON and then output, okay. So JSON, and here is the output 0. This is the one, output 0, and then .idea. So essentially we're selecting this part right here, okay? But right now it's not gonna work for one simple reason, because I'm using it as fixed. And it's gonna be interpreted as a just plain text, which doesn't mean anything to a agent. We need to switch it to expression. And now you guys can see it became green. And if I look at the preview, now I'm getting the output data in right here. So I know it's complicated, but once you click, it's going to be super easy to actually use the expressions and use all the JSON variables. So yeah, it just takes a bit of practice, but you can do it for a couple hours every day and you're going to be good to go. Within a week or so, you're going to become pro at doing the expressions in n8n. Cool, awesome. And also you kind of learn how to troubleshoot errors. So I fixed that one. Let me just save the workflow because I'll be giving you the start thing for free. So I want to make sure that it's properly working and it's all good. The other thing that I want to touch on is the think node here, this little brain looking thingy. And what it is, actually it's pretty cool. It's simple, but really, really cool. And what it does, it sort of creates a node where AI agent can dump its thoughts and think about it, okay? So here you can see that it's dumping its thoughts. So this is the query that's coming from AI agent, right? And it's saying essentially, assuming the user's concept, environment, and sound context are placeholders, I should create a unique and fully detailed video generation prompt for a viral, oddly satisfying video. Okay, so this is crazy because AI agent is brainstorming on its own based on the user's input. And this is the space for that. This is essentially a brain dump for AI agent to brainstorm about things and make it better. Then we have something called parser. Parser, honestly, nothing really crazy here. Essentially, we want to parse, or I would say like transform a JSON output into specific, specific JSON input into specific output. And here we're giving an example in what format we want to get the output. Okay, so think of it as a sort of reformatting node for JSON code in a way, because we want to get specific JSON output. So we need to use the parser to kind of convert or parse that into a specific format, right? Cool, now is the fun part. Now, once we're done with everything, we're sending that to our APIs. And all the APIs are, in most cases, handled through HTTP nodes, okay? So this is renamed, but the way the original node works, I go to node here, I type in HTTP request. So this is how it looks. So again, I just renamed them to make it more, visually clear. But essentially, that is just a HTTP node at the end of the day. And HTTP requests work in this way in n8n. So we have a couple of methods. These are really, again, the basics of APIs. To make API calls, we're using a couple of methods. And the 90% of the time, you're going to be using either post or you're going to be using get. Okay, you might be using delete or different ones as well if you're working with like a specific API endpoint requests. Like if you want to like remove or modify something in the API endpoint, you know, maybe you're working with a like a, I don't know, specific API endpoint that is storing data, I don't know, in some kind of a third-party backend. So if you want to modify data, you might be using something like delete and stuff like that. But again, we're going too deep into APIs. If you're a complete beginner and if you're actually curious about the stuff, let me know in the comments, and I can easily drop a beginner-friendly API video on the APIs and how to use them and what APIs are within the concept of n8n. Okay, so I will teach you everything that you need to know about APIs, API statuses, and how to kind of interpret them correctly as a beginner. So if you want that, just let me know in the comments and I'll drop a free video on that for sure. Not a problem. Cool. So here we're using a method called post because think of a post as posting something to somewhere. So same like with a letter, you're posting a letter to somebody or somewhere, right? So the same way we're posting our request over here. So detailed prompt or aka our post. So we're posting this to API and we're sending it to WaveSpeed. And WaveSpeed essentially is a third-party platform that has all of the AI models, mostly for content generation, in one place. So you don't have to go to the original source. So you have everything in one place, and you just essentially choose the AI model based on the endpoint right here. So this is my endpoint, ByteDance, Seedance, V1, Pro, whatever. That's the endpoint for the model. And if we go back here, this is the same endpoint right here. Well, here I think I'm using the light version because it's cheaper, but essentially these are the endpoints and you just copy it and bring it in here and you're good to go. And also you need to create your own API keys with the WaveSpeed. Okay, so again, here you're gonna go to API keys, create your own API key, and then you need to go to billing and also buy like 10 credits, okay? Because all the API keys, they need a credit in most cases, so they won't work until you put some funding. I believe WaveSpeed and some other content generation platforms do offer you like free credit. They give you like $5 for free, but at some point you will need to add some more credits to use the API keys, okay? And it's fairly cheap, okay? I would say if I have to give you, so one video I believe costs like 16 cents, okay? So each run or request to this API right here, it costs 16 cents. So if I open this one here, this one maybe not the best example. I think maybe this one. Yeah, so each request is costing 15 cents. Okay, so 15 cents every time you're gonna generate a video through this endpoint. It's gonna cost you 15 cents, which is pretty cheap. If you compare with something like Google Veo, which costs you like $22, but again, not the same. Veo 3 comes with the sound and everything combined. Here we need to have a generate video separately through WaveSpeed, and then we're going to be using File API to generate sounds and stitch everything together, right? So just, I guess you're paying for a easy way out if you're going with Veo 3. If you want to do something custom and cheaper, then this is a pretty decent setup and everything is pretty much ready to go for you in here as well. Cool, so then we using the header application. You need to essentially create your credential, same way like we did with ChatGPT. You're gonna bring the API key in here and copy paste it. Okay, and here we need to send a specific application JSON or content type. Okay, because the WaveSpeed API is expecting a specific data, right? And we are defining that data here. So we are defining that, okay, we want aspect ratio to be 9:16, which is the shorts format. We want to limit the duration for 10 seconds max. Okay, you can put it 20, 30 seconds, you can do it. But remember, you will be paying more for the API keys, okay? And here we are feeding the, detailed prompt input or output in here. And again, if you guys remember, we're using a expression or a variable. And again, here a number 3 generate detailed prompt. If you look here, the same thing, JSON.output detailed prompt, and essentially we are going here, and that's where we're getting it. Okay, and here is the result. Okay, something from here, it goes to here, and then it gets sent through the API post request to the WaveSpeed to actually start generating the video. Okay, so that's that. Then super important part when you're working with AI models is to use a weight node, okay? And what it does, it's pretty simple. It's a node that's gonna wait. So because when you generate AI content, it will take a little bit of time, okay? It's gonna take at least I would say at least a minute or more, probably more, closer to 2 minutes. I think on average for 10-second video, it's gonna take around like 2 minutes. So we're essentially putting 120 seconds, so 2 minutes to wait for the video to be generated. Because if we try to pull the video before that, we're gonna get error saying that the request doesn't exist because status is still processing or in queue. So we are waiting for the status to be completed. And to do that, we need to do a wait node, okay? And once that is done, we're gonna go to a get video result. So here we're using again HTTP node. And if you guys remember, we want to get the result. That's why using the API method get, okay? We want to get. So remember, if we are sending data to API using post, if we're getting data from API, we're using get method, okay? And again, here we're using variables, json.data.id, and we are getting that from right here. So json.data.id, this is the ID of the video. And here it is. If we look at the output, here we're getting the MP4. So even if I copy paste this into the browser, we should get a video right away. Okay, here it is. But again, there's no sound because we haven't generated any yet. So now, once we're done with the video, we're gonna send it to File API, also post request. Okay, we are connecting to File API. And File API is also a platform with a bunch of APIs. Really easy to use and really cheap. Okay, let me just log in into my account fast. I think I've been using it like extensively and I barely pay anything for it. I have like $13 here. Let me see the usage. It's really cheap because I'm mainly using it to generate. So here it is. Okay, so here I use essentially, I use the audio track 170 times and it cost me only 17 cents. And I use the compose method. Essentially, it's the API endpoint that stitches together your audio and video together. And I use it 4 times. I only paid 0.00008 cents. So it's pretty cheap. So File API is really, really cool for that. It has a bunch of API endpoints for AI models. And you can do really cool stuff for cheap on the budget. Okay, so same here. We're injecting a expression or variable. What do we want for the sound? And then we're sending here. So here we're pulling the prompt, injecting that into expression, then sending that to the output. And here we're getting amplify, soft, stack, a squish, and buttery knife slicing audio. Cool. And once we get the audio, we do the same thing like with the video. We need to wait for the video to generate, but here we're only using 60 seconds because audio generates much faster. Then we get final video from HTTP node using get method, okay? And then here, if you guys, I'm not gonna go over it again because I explained that. I hope you guys making notes and remember using expression variable from input right here. And once everything is good, we are logging all of that to our Excel or, well, Google spreadsheet. And then again, we're using variables to log everything into its own column. If I go to my express sheet, well, not express sheet, my spreadsheet. You guys, don't worry, I'm going to be giving a template for the spreadsheet, and also the link for it is included right here. Okay, so just click on it, copy, paste, and put it into your Google spreadsheet account. So what do? We have create date, ID, idea. Okay, what was the idea of the video? Caption. So it's really cool. So you get a caption with all the hashtags. So literally just download the video and put it on your YouTube Shorts and add the caption, hashtags, everything's ready to go, or even TikTok. And the URL right here, if you click on it, copy paste it, you're gonna be able to download the MP4 and then the environment prompt. Okay, so basic stuff, but really cool stuff to kind of have for your own data. Okay, and yeah. And to authenticate your Google spreadsheet, what you're going to do, you're going to go here, credentials to connect with. You're going to go click here, create new credential, and then basically just log in with your Gmail account here and select your Gmail, and you're going to be good to go. Yeah, and that's just as easy as that. It's going to do its own thing automatically. Let me close this, and let me just make sure I select my own account. Okay, let me just refresh so I make sure I don't break anything. Okay. Okay, so I think we covered everything. So now actually let's generate another video so I can see everything in live. Let me just make sure I fixed that one. I did. Cool. So guys, let's generate now our video. And the way it's going to work, just click on execute workflow. That's to trigger it manually. So once I do that, here it goes from this agent. Now it sends it to the production plan, and then it's going to go to generate detailed prompt. And then it's going to send to create video, and then it's going to go to wait for video right here. Okay. And if we look at the tokens, in a sense, how much it's going to cost us. So the first one only costs us 162 tokens, which is like literally nothing. It's going to be like 0.00000, bunch of zeros, something cents. Then we have this one, 739 tokens. It's also going to be super cheap. And then we have, I think this one's going to be the most expensive one. Well, not even 820 tokens. And this one is like 1200. So we roughly use 2200 tokens. And it's pretty cheap. So if we're going to tokens to cost, okay. Here it is. So tokens to cost. So we use roughly 2500 input tokens. And how much we have? How many output ones we have? We don't have any output here. There's no output here. So we have mostly inputs. Okay, so let's say 2500 input. And we have no output. And we made only, how many API calls we did? Okay, 1, 2, there's 3 agents, so 3 API calls. Let's assume we did 3 API calls. And actually, well, there's output tokens are mandatory. Okay, here it is. Okay, let's say we have like, let's divide that into 2. So we have like, let's say 1500 input and 1000 output, just as an example, because that's for sure that's not more than that, very tops. And the only thing we paying here is basically 0.04 cents, guys. That's pretty cheap. Okay, so you're pretty much paying nothing, right? So that's why it's super cool. You can generate these cool videos for dirt cheap. Cool. So everything went through. This is good. Video went through. Let's see. We got the MP4. Nice. So now we're just waiting for the audio, and then we're gonna get the final video. And then we're gonna get the data log to our spreadsheet right here. Let's just wait for that, and then we're gonna be pretty much good to go, guys. Okay, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, because I always drop these videos for free with JSON templates, and I'm always open to feedback or suggestion. If you want to challenge me to create some kind of specific n8n workflow, or like I'm super down for it, just drop a comment. Or if you need help with anything or have any questions in general, always leave a comment below. Don't worry about it. I'll always answer all the comments as soon as I can. Okay, so let's wait for it. It's almost done. I feel like it's been more than 60 seconds, but I don't think so. So we actually got the output. Okay, so now we are good to go. Let's go check out our spreadsheet. Nice. So here it is. Okay, super excited. So let's see what it did. It did a molten chocolate spiral fills mold. Okay, and let's download the video. Actually, check it out. Super to see it. Okay, I can hear it. Nice. Cool, guys. That actually looks like a real chocolate, and I love the sounds. They're like almost in sync. Like, this is pretty cool considering, well, 2 different AI models working together and then stitching everything together. Like, it's very close in terms of sync. And I've seen these videos on TikTok doing like hundreds and 200,000 views and millions of views, even in shorts. So you can automate this and have all these being generated for you automatically. And all you need to do is just really upload it to your social media accounts, right? So again, here it is. Pretty awesome. Cool. Yeah, and that's the end result, guys. Super cool. You can also take it a notch more, like in terms of being more advanced. We can connect this to something called Potato, and Potato essentially is a platform that lets you auto post to all your social media accounts at the same time, and they have a official node, I believe. Maybe they don't. I think they might be working from HTTP node, but again, it's possible to connect Potato. And essentially, you connect inside of the spreadsheet, you connect it to Potato, and Potato will auto post this content for you automatically to all of your social media accounts, and everything is on autopilot. If you want me to drop a video on that as well, let me know down in the comments. I can do it. But for now, we are pretty much good to go and we're done. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe, enable notifications. And you already know, as always, I'm going to see you next time.